Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Lori, the Ph.D. Antiques Appraiser, your expert just for you. And tonight it's Ask Dr. Lori Live. Thank you for being with me. I'm happy to see all of you. Happy New Year. We've been doing all of that. Happy New Year. It's nice to see all of you. Thanks for joining me again. And tonight we're going to take your questions. This, of course, is Ask Dr. Lori Live. For you first timers, I'm excited to see you. So thanks for being here. And for those of you who aren't first timers, I'm excited to see you too. So thanks for being here. I'm happy that we're all together tonight, and I want to see those questions. So what do you have to say? Hello to Lori and Carl and Betty and CR and Karen, and there's Cheryl. And Chavez is here, and Lisa, and Colleen, and Gloria. I've got a whole bunch of you. Thanks for being here. So let's see those questions. You don't like to call people doctor? Well, I earned it. I think you should call me doctor. How about that, Star? People are like, oh, I just want to do that. It's only a respect thing. I mean, I don't get upset if somebody says, oh, Lori, because it's my name. But it's funny when people don't want to call you doctor. That usually says something to me, you know. I kind of think it's nice to be able to recognize all the work that somebody put in. Not because I have the title, but even if it's a title that isn't a title like doctor, if it's Miss or Mrs. or whatever, I don't know. I think it's respectful. But anyway, it's not all that necessary with me. But a lot of people do that when they don't want to give you sort of the kudos. But I don't live on that. I don't care about that. That doesn't really bother me. Hi from Jackson, Tennessee, Rebecca. It's nice to see you. And what questions do we have? You want to talk about the percolator on the table? You know what? On Tuesday, I'm going to talk about all the stuff on the table. Jennifer wants to know, would a ring have a patent number? Okay, so would a patent pending be on a ring? The design of the ring could have a patent number. So yeah, so if you see patent pen like PAT period, PEND period on a piece of jewelry, yes, that is possible. So it could have a patent number for the design. They're called design patents. You know, when you're watching Shark Tank, you probably watched that show on CNBC, right? Or wherever you watch these particular shows. That they'll say, do you have a design patent? Because they want to make sure that the actual design is protected with a patent. So yes, jewelry can actually have that. Good question. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate that. So yeah, the stuff on the table I'm going to talk about Tuesday. You know, of course, that I always do a lot of taping on Tuesdays. Tuesday's kind of my day. And then today I was doing video calls with everybody, and I was excited to talk to all of you. And many of you have asked for me to do this at evenings, so I plotted out some evenings and I went like that. Dr. Lori, how do you handle a hoard? Oh, like hoarders, like people with all kinds of stuff. It's very easy to handle a hoard. So people will say, you know, how do I go through all of this? So if you're looking to do that so you can resell the stuff, or if you've purchased an estate and you want to resell it and you're trying to concern yourself with that, I always say, you know, look for the most valuable stuff first. When I do an in-home appraisal, for example, or when I help people on a video call where they show me their pieces, what I typically say is we want to start with furniture, we want to start with artwork, and we want to start, of course, with the big pieces where the big money will usually be. I want to thank Mick. Thank you so much, Mick. I appreciate that a lot for you being, of course, a super chat. And super chats help support the channel, and I'm grateful. And of any value, of any number, of any amount is very, very helpful. I appreciate it. And for those of you who are turning in tonight, I've got something for all of you. So Mick isn't the only one who I'm going to help. I'm going to help all of you, of course. On our community tab, we have a gift for you. It's 25% off merchandise because you're all here. Go to the community tab and get the coupon code. The code, of course, is on the community tab. It's a limited time offer where you can get 25% off all Dr. Lori merchandise. And of course, that's at the community tab. So look for that. And then remember that you're the first to know, but it'll also be the first to go. So it ends on January 3rd. So you've got to utilize that 25% off that I'm giving you. Got to utilize it before tomorrow. Hi, Rachel. Hello. I have what looks to be a very old metal jug, and I can find no information on it. Oh, no. What do you do? Okay, first things you do when you don't know how to identify the piece, you could send a picture to me and I'll identify it for you. But if you don't know what to do, one of the things that I want you to do is don't look at it only for materials, but look at it for shape, for design, for size. Look at the other aspects or other things that would describe the piece. So I always call it look for descriptors. So when you look for descriptors and you try to, in fact, identify the piece that way, when you're searching, you might be able to find it in that manner. The other thing I want you to be careful of is sources. You're going to all these people who aren't really credible sources, who don't always know. So I want you to be aware of that. Mick, thank you so much for supporting the channel. When you support the channel, you of course support everybody. You help everybody. So I appreciate that. Kathy wants to know, what's the difference between clear glass and crystal? Okay, well, crystal has to have at least 24% lead content. That's what crystal is, right? Glass does not have up to 24% lead content. Crystal can have more than 24% lead content, but in fact, it has to be crystal. It has to have at least 24% lead content. That's why we call it lead crystal. And I talk a lot about crystal in a lot of videos. I like crystal. I kind of like it. Hi, Cassandra. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Coloring. Are there art supplies that could be valuable? Paints and easels and brushes? Yeah. Actually, I appraised an easel that was on the Titanic. So it was an actual easel that somebody brought on, you know, when they were on the Titanic. Because they wanted to paint during their cruise. So that was kind of interesting. I doubt if much painting got done by that poor person. But for the most part, yeah. So, and then certain paints can also be desirable. A lot of people do collect vintage and antique artist supplies, paint brushes, for example. There are, of course, some of the artist supplies from some of the great artists that continue to be collected and are pretty valuable. You know, things like paint brushes out of the studio at Giverny of Monet, or those kinds of things. So yeah, that's true. Good question. Tavish wants to know, is it best to place new acid-free materials in art before reselling, or should it be left alone? Okay. Well, you know, there are some people who are purists and they say, you know what, I don't want you to touch anything. And then there are other people who say, I want it all to be brand new acid-free mat board, new acid-free foam core backing, a new frame, a new everything. So it just depends on how much money you want to get out of the reselling piece that you're going to resell, and if you want to put money in order to make it better. So a lot of times, if you don't know what you're doing with reframing or rematting, then I want you to bring it to a professional and ask for acid-free, museum quality, archival materials. If they don't know what it is and they say, oh, I can give you a buffered mat, or I can give you a regular mat, or I can dry mount it, run with your print out of there, okay? So think about that. But yeah, a lot of times it's a good idea to actually help the value of something that may not look so great, that you don't think you're going to make enough money on, but it will protect the piece. Carl's here. Carl, the lazy reseller. Do you have any general advice or tips for spotting valuable whiskey glasses? Yeah, if there's whiskey in it, it's worth more. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so whiskey glasses, a couple of things. You want to look, of course, for good material. So if you can get the crystal ones, if you're looking for Baccarat, if you're looking for the brand names, things like Lalique, those kinds of things. If you're looking just for a whiskey glass specifically, I want you to look for a nice, strong glass. The other thing about glass is learn what glasses are for. People go, what does that mean, Lori? Well, basically that idea that certain glasses are for different types of drinks. So, you know, a wine glass of a certain shape, a martini glass has a certain shape, and it all has to do with how you're going to actually imbibe or take in that particular drink. So I want you to look for quality of materials. I want you to look for brand names. I love brand names. Look for brand names. And then I want you also to look, of course, for those pieces that might be also advertising collectibles. Anytime you can get two collectible categories together, the value is going to go up. So thank you very much. We've got another super Pixie. Thank you very much for your super chat. I appreciate it. Oh, how much would a Guaisamin 5x7 be worth from the Tenderness collection, signed and it's on cardboard and raised? Okay, I'd have to see a picture of it so I can give you a good evaluation for it. You can send me a photo, of course, and I'll take a look at that. But the other thing I want you to remember is size. So a small size piece like that, 5x7, but that's pretty standard for pieces like that. So be aware that sometimes when you're seeing reproductions of pieces, you're going to see the size, not the standard. So learn the standard sizes for pieces like that. Pixie, thank you very much. You're supporting the channel and, of course, supporting our staff, and I appreciate it, so I can do more videos for you. But please do send me a photo, and I'll make sure that I get back about that specifically. Happy New Year to all of you. David's here and Karen's here. And of course, let's see, they ever want to give them medical advice? Oh, we're giving medical advice now? No, I'm not that kind of doctor, but maybe that wasn't related to me. I don't know. We'll have to see. So, but thanks for your questions. Hi, Samantha. Samantha, thanks so much for your for your super sticker. I appreciate it. It's really nice of you, and I'm grateful to you for, of course, supporting the channel. Here's her question. I have a question about Inga, Germany, Mapaco. I was just sold a canister set and couldn't find much about Mapaco. Could it be an antique? Thanks for teaching me a lot. My shop is doing great. Your shop is doing great. I love to hear that. I hope all your shops are doing great. I'm teaching you where to find the money, how to do it. That's what this channel is all about. It's all about finding the money, and I'm going to find you some more money. But let me answer this question first about Mapaco. First of all, remember that, can you put that up? Can I see that question again? I don't know if we can catch it again, maybe. Oh, there we go. You couldn't find much about it. Could it be an antique? Okay, an antique has to be 100 years old or more. So that's the first thing you got to think about. Everybody uses antique. This word gets thrown around a lot, so be aware of that. Now, in finding these particular pieces and not finding much information about it, you're probably going to the wrong sources. And this is really a big issue now because a lot of people are out there as if they're experts. You know, and I sit here and am able to say this and comfortable saying this because I spent a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of course, you know, education trying to create this expertise for you so you can use it. You know, everybody else is just putting out, oh, I think this or I think that or I heard it fifth hand. I had to actually do this. So I would think that it's possible, but not probable that it is 100 years old or more. But thanks for that question, and thanks so much for your support as well. I'm grateful to you. I am happy that your shops are doing great. I'm happy that even if you're not reselling it, if you're just buying it for yourself and you're learning about what quality is when you're at that yard sale, estate sale, flea market, or if you're online, there's so much good stuff online that's selling for a song. You know, as opposed to these folks who are out there saying, oh, I'm doing an eBay business. And then you go to their eBay shop and they've got like, you know, 15 things up. You're going, what kind of eBay business are they doing? So I want you to learn it. I want you to know the important stuff, which is learning that gut. I want you to feel it in your gut when you've got something good in your hand. And that's what I'm going to show you. And that's why I'm showing you all of these videos and all this information about all different pieces, not just glass or not just ceramics or not just one thing, all the things. Because when you go into those thrift stores, you know it. There's a lot of that. Any value to Marie Osmond Porcelain Dolls? Did you see her? It's, of course, the time for the diets and all the commercials. Did you see Marie Osmond? She's doing Jenny Craig. She looks good. She lost that weight and she looks good. But in fact, I have to say that I think her dolls, because they're so largely mass produced, are not going to be valuable for a long time. That doesn't mean they're not valuable, but on the resale market, they're going to be somewhat low. And I think that once you get into the time period where you're not seeing her so frequently, you're going to see a little bit more value for them coming up. Also remember that dolls do sell a little bit better around holiday time and a little bit better in the springtime as well. Hi, Nathaniel. How are you? Nathaniel, one of my friends, video chats and such. Where can I find a market to sell the items that I find? Thanks for the appraisal today as well. It was nice to talk with Nathaniel today on a video call. And thanks so much for your support of our channel, because it is our channel. I want all of you to learn so you're making some money. So where do you find the markets for the things that you found? So different places will sell better in different markets, right? So for example, don't try to sell, of course, your ceramic figurines on a sports collectible website. But usually if you're selling online, you're going to do pretty well as long as you, in fact, have a correct identification and use my selling tips, which are in videos on the channel, of course, selling tips of making sure you are presenting your pieces very well. So if you're selling anything that's sort of a niche market or more of a female or feminine market, I want you to look at those places that tend to skew toward interior design, women, and those kinds of sites. eBay is great. eBay's fine. eBay is sort of all-encompassing, and eBay's good because they have, of course, a lot of eyeballs at eBay. But a lot of eyeballs are on a lot of other sites too. The Ruby Lanes and, of course, the Etsy's and the Cherish and the First Dibs and lots of places. But if you're looking at fine art, for example, if you're looking at fine art, you want to think about those places where that piece can be placed in. So places like, of course, Ruby Lane and even a Craigslist, those kinds of places. But I like an Etsy shop for a lot of you folks because a lot of you folks are reselling or quote unquote dealing in home decor. So thanks so much for the super stickers and thanks so much for supporting the channel. Can't do it without you. Thank you, Flaws and All. Of course, my friend Debbie at Flaws and All's Treasures. What information would you have about a glass artist named Justin Green? Well, I'd have to see the piece by Justin Green. And of course, these particular pieces are going to be important when you're looking at this. When you're looking at it, don't only look for, of course, makers' names, because a lot of people are glass artists, right? So the level of popularity of glass artists is going to be whether or not they're skilled and have a mastery of the skill or not. More of the times, of course, in the Ask Dr. Lori's, I always have a bowl in front of me, and I have this bowl in front of me too. And of course, typically there's all pieces of paper in it if you watch them with my questions in it. But today it's all about you. And it's also about you because today, for you tuning in, I am going to provide you with a code so you can get 25% off Dr. Lori merchandise like the all-important Dr. Lori mug, because I say you're priceless. Or, of course, our Dr. Lori loop. I love the loop with the, of course, LED light, or, of course, the jewelry tester, the diamond tester is important too. But having said that, I want to remind you that you're going to go to the community tab, and I want you to use the community tab. Why? The community tab is going to have all the information on it about everything that we're doing. So go to that community tab. Here's where it is. If you can't find it, get used to going to it, please. And today, use the code Dr. Lori 25 to get 25% off merchandise. The link will be in the community tab. It's a limited time offer to get 25% off merchandise. And of course, that's for New Year's. That of course, sale, if you will, or that gift will actually end tomorrow on the 3rd of January. Okay. Yeah, thanks so much, Lori. Thanks so much. I appreciate that as well. Let's see, what else have we got? So I'm up to the top. We're back to the old questions here. Got any new questions for me? Let's see. So anyway, so I spent my day doing video calls. I don't know how you spent this first day. Danielle has a question. Dr. Lori, what's a tip for identifying valuable pottery? Okay, I want you to look at the actual piece. I know you love the marks and you're all looking for marks, and marks are great, but I want you to actually look at the piece. One of the things that I've been teaching people for a long time is the brighter and whiter the clay, the higher the quality of the ceramic. Turn over that piece and look at the bottom. Look at the clay. Look at the color. Bright white, like my gloves, higher quality. So I want you to look at that kind of thing with respect to quality ceramics. The other thing I want you to look for, because that doesn't mean a piece of redware or a piece of blackware can't be desirable, but in fact, I want you to look for, again, the quality of the glaze, quality of the hand painting, how specific it is when you're looking at that piece. You know, I looked at a piece today, and I'm glad Lori loves her t-shirt. Thank you so much, Lori. I bet it looks good on you. The Dr. Lori Says t-shirts are out there too, and 25% off merchandise because you're here. Go to the community tab and get, of course, that code. But basically, when you're looking at ceramics and you're looking at pottery, I want you to look for the mark. Sure, it's great if it's signed. It's great if there's a mark, but that's not the only thing, because there are a lot of things that are unmarked that are really valuable, you know, so people are surprised by that. So I want you to look at that. I want you to look for intricacy. For example, there are a lot of Asian ceramics out there, and a lot of the Asian ceramics, some of them are reproductions. So how do you tell if you have a good one or a not so good one? I want you to look for delicacy in the design, and I want you to look for detail in the design. I also want you to look for workmanship. You know what workmanship looks like. You understand when someone's taken time in their job and have done it right? Not, you know, I mean, I'm a good example. I've taken time in my job and I've done it right. I'm not one of these yahoos out there. I'm the expert for you, and I'm trying to help you. So that's what I want you to think about. Though you are succeeding, why are you succeeding? Because you're working hard and I'm working hard with you. That's why you're succeeding. I'm glad you like the shirt, Lori. I love you very much, Lori Disney. You've been a great, great help to all of us, and we're happy to have you here at the channel. Dr. Lori, I've never caught you live. Well, here I am live in my purple sweater. I'm a little cash tonight, but yeah. How do I send a picture of an old bar supposed to be from Germany? It's very interesting. Send a picture at my website. It's very easy. You can go to my website, and it says right there how you can send a photo. It's very easy. That website has a lot of information, research information, and other information, as well as the place where you can send me a photo. Easy to do. And questions right here. So thanks for your question. Let's see. Who else is here with me? Let's see. Here we go. Does chalkware have any value? Well, chalkware is that inexpensive ceramic that, in fact, was given out at carnivals and at the movie theaters, and their doorstops and their little banks. And I can imagine, sort of in my mind's eye, I can see one of those little Santa Claus banks of chalkware. Very, very porous white ceramic. It's not fired at a high temperature. It's usually painted really fast. They used to give it away if you'd win a game sort of at a carnival. I remember after my high school prom, we all went to, of course, the carnival. That was the thing you did after my high school prom 5 billion years ago when I was in high school. And basically, I remember they still gave out chalkware. Chalkware, pretty inexpensive. People do collect it sort of for the memory of it or the sentimentality of it. But in terms of value, low quality, low value. Yeah, good question, though. Good question. Ro wants to know, I collect Hoya crystal. What do the numbers on the stickers mean? Okay, numbers on stickers mean a lot of different things. So they can mean a mold number, so they mean like a design number or what that form is going to look like. Numbers can also mean, just today I was doing a video call and somebody asked me, showed me the bottom of a piece and said, hey, Dr. Laura, I don't know what these numbers are. It looks like a date. Is it a date? It's usually not a date, okay? It's usually a code of some sort, right? So sometimes it's also an identification code from the designer. So, a firm has all these designers working for them, and each one has a code. It could be a number or a letter, or it could be a first 3 letters of their name. It could be a lot of different things. So I'd have to see the sticker, and then I'd be able to decipher or decode it for you. Sherry Ann, Dr. Lori, what's your biggest score? What do you mean by biggest score? Like, what's the most valuable thing that I ever appraised? I appraised a $2 million Renoir painting that everybody said was a fake, and it was real. I appraised George Washington's wallet. I oftentimes talk about that. Let me think of something else that was a pretty big number. I appraised a $100,000 painting that 2 dealers in my audience asked the 80-year-old couple if they could give them $8,000 for it. They said, don't have her appraise it. We'll give you $8,000 right here. And it was worth $100,000. Let me think, what else have I appraised? A lot of stuff. My gosh, it's been years. Let's see. Well, just the other week, actually, it was a gorgeous painting by a very famous Spanish artist, which was worth multi-millions. That was interesting. And today on a video call, a similar piece also into the high hundreds of thousands. It was 850,000 on a video call. So there have been a lot, but I mean, in terms of my score, anytime I lose 5 pounds, that's a score for me. Anyway, so thank you very much for, of course, your support of the channel. I do appreciate it very much. It helps everybody. It helps me make more videos, which helps you guys do better. So I'm happy about that. We have a collection of Flow Blue. It's very old, at least 120 years old. I believe that. How do we divide it in the family? Okay, Debbie, you got an issue. So anytime you break up a collection, you devalue the collection by between 10 and 15%. So as you start to divide it, the only thing I could say to you, if you can divide by type, right? All the bowls to one, all the teapots to another, all the plates to somebody else. That's one of the ways you could do it. I wish you wouldn't break up the collection, but I understand it's very difficult. Flow Blue can go all the way back 100 years, even into 200 years. Flow Blue is quite old. And of course, it is that Flow Blue that oxidizes in the kiln. So it kind of flows. The cobalt blue color of the blue-white porcelain actually flows. Also, you could also divide it by a maker. You could do it that way if you have to divide it. But it's unfortunate if you have to divide it. It is difficult to divide. I always say, try to be fair. I'm the baby in the family. And you know what? The babies don't get everything. So try to be fair to those who may not have gotten all the stuff in the beginning. It's hard to do that. Also, remember when you are sort of breaking up collections and you're trying to maybe hand it down to heirs, that you are, in fact, taking into consideration where the pieces are going to end up. And some instruction is always good. I always tell the parents, be parents, tell the kids what you want to happen. That was grandma's. I want you to take care of it. It's not a bad thing. Good question, Debbie. Good luck. Dr. Lori, did you ever find out what happened to that man who bought the ladies' George Washington obituary? Well, yeah, my origin story is in another video, and I'll let you go watch that. And it talks about the woman who actually started me being America's appraiser. Basically, a woman sold off a very valuable George Washington piece of memorabilia, and that particular piece was worth $50,000, and the appraiser bought it for $50. So that's what you're looking at. And what's interesting about that is, in fact, that people don't realize that appraisers really shouldn't also be making offers, in my opinion, to buy your stuff. They should appraise your stuff. And people say, oh, well, you know, but so no, I don't know anything about what actually came about. Technically, he didn't do anything illegal because she took a purchase offer. Now, she didn't recognize that as a purchase offer. He made her a purchase offer, said, I'll give you $50 for this thing. He knew it was worth more than $50, but she didn't. So he didn't really do anything technically wrong. Ethically, I think it's crappy, but you know, that's my opinion. And then he bought it from her for $50 and resold it for, of course, about $50,000. So yeah, you got to be careful. You got to know what you got. You got to know what it's worth. Weiss jewelry, beautiful. Did they ever use real gems? Weiss used very good pieces, very high quality for Weiss and Trifari. Some of the other ones, very high quality in costume jewelry. Can I see the rest of that question, please? So a lot of nice pieces. So Weiss jewelry, your necklace has double rows with 10 prongs on each stone. Yeah, 10 prongs on each stone. So those are, I don't have anything on with real good prongs, but 10 prongs on each stone for a bracelet, you know, that's a lot to protect, right? And a lot of it has to do with it's much cheaper to give you another prong and make it look like it's a great stone than to give you a great stone. But they can be tested. You can use our diamond tester. It's easy to test gemstones, and of course, to make sure that you are using the rice and of course, merchandise 25% off because you're here with me live now. And it's in the community tab, so you can go get that link and go get, of course, that code and get a diamond tester or, of course, a gemstone tester. The other thing I want you to remember about costume jewelry, don't overlook it. It really can be valuable, and it sells very well because a lot of the millennial collectors do not want the burden of real jewelry. They want something that if they were to lose it, and that would be unfortunate, then all of a sudden, if they were to lose it, they're not worried about it, so they prefer costume jewelry, and costume jewelry is selling well still. Have you ever seen Antiques Road Trip? It's a British show. It would be fun if you were on against one of them. Well, yeah, Nicole, you know what? I certainly would be happy to do that. I have traveled, of course, internationally doing appraisals and been on television for 20 years or more, actually. And sure, I can, I'm sure that it would be fun to participate in that show. I've done a lot of shows over the years. And what's fun about a lot of this is basically understanding what you've got and also talking about what pieces are important to your heart, not, oh, sorry, my microphone, sorry, were important to your heart, not only to your pocketbook. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Here's some friends from Canada. Here's Heather. We love to watch your videos and thanks for sharing your knowledge. Oh, Heather, you're so sweet. I love sharing my knowledge. I'm very lucky and blessed that I was able to acquire all of this knowledge. I had two parents who were like, go to school and do what you love and try to do what you like. And if this is what you like, sure, we'll support it. And I got a lot of scholarships and I was fortunate and I worked all the time. I had 4 jobs always. I always had a lot of jobs. So really doing this is just my pleasure. And I'm so happy that you're learning from the knowledge. You know, I think my Penn State tuition money should go to all of you. So you know, I'm happy to share it. Pink Elephant is here. I'm looking into an oil painting by an artist signed Fergus. It's 45 by 32 and the style is drip oil. It looks like a depiction of a ship. Okay, couple of things. Here's the first thing. It's 45 by 32. 45 by 32 is not a standard size, right? So typically you'll have 30 by 32. Maybe you'll have 30 by 36. Maybe you'll have 32 by 46. So couple things. Look for a standard size. If your painting is cut down, that impacts value, right? If it's restretched over newer stretchers, stretcher bars on the back, that impacts value. What else? When you say it's a drip oil style, so it's kind of expressionistic, but you can still see that it is a ship. If it's like that, there's nothing that's known as drip oil style. That's somebody made that up. That doesn't really exist. And maybe you're just trying to be descriptive because you're trying to type for me. But for the most part, what you're probably looking at is an expressionistic piece. And remember that if you can't find these artists, that doesn't mean that they're not an important artist. That means that they just may not have been where you're looking. So there's lots of ways that I can help you with that. You can always send me a picture. I need a picture of the front, the back, and a close-up of the signature, and I'll be able to help. All right. Thank you so much for that support, too. What else have we got? What do we think? I was thinking today about, I've been looking at some of the videos, and you know, I go around and I look at a lot of things and I investigate all the time and I'm researching all the time. Not only because I love it, you know, you love the things that you're good at, right? So I wouldn't be investigating, diet books if I was good at that. How do I tell if a cameo brooch is a good one? Okay, well, this is not that difficult. First of all, cameos. I want you to think about what the cameo comes from. So the cameo is a shell and it's carved. And if you've ever seen them carve a cameo, they do it with they're very specific in how they actually carve it, right? So couple of things that are happening. So when you're looking for a good cameo, I want you to look for the shell, and I want it to look like a shell. It'll be two-tone. So usually it's kind of that orangey pink color, right, of the cameo. And then the cameo itself, or the image, whether there's a woman in profile or whatever it might be, would come forward in relief sculpture, and it's usually white. So they choose the area of the shell to actually carve. So you want to look for a consistency and many intricate carvings. So you want to look for intricate carving. You don't want to look for a nose that kind of just looks like, a backward letter L kind of thing. You want to look for forms that are intricately carved. You want to look for details like curls. You want to look for the iris of the eye, and then the eyeball, and then the mandorla, which is the almond shape of the eye. Then you want to look for little lashes. You want to look for details in a good cameo. You want to look for size. I appraised a gorgeous cameo in Ohio. I remember it was beautiful. And it was the Three Graces. It was about, literally, it was this big. It was big. And it was the Three Graces. And they literally, from head to toe, all decorative. Piece was worth between $1,200 and $1,500. It was beautiful. 19th century. The other thing about cameos, I want you to look for the setting. Sterling silver marked, 14 karat gold marked, 18 karat gold. Not too many wires. I want you to look for an actual setting. Betty Boop, thank you for your support, Betty Boop. You're a young woman. What items should I pass down or collect for 3 granddaughters under 7 to inherit? Whatever you want to give them, they will love because it's from you, period. So what will increase in value? Furniture, fine art, precious metals, including jewelry. Those increase in values. Think of it this way. When you go on vacation and you're in a museum, what are you looking at? You're looking at paintings, fine art, sculpture, right? You're looking at the crown jewels, jewelry, right? And you're looking at furniture or decorative art. So any of those would be good. If you want to start a collection, that's something that you did with them, right? So, with the people that I love, who I'm handing things down with, I like to have those things when I did something with them. So, if you found something with them or went antiquing with them, that's a good idea. But it's nice that you have them. And you've got a long time to collect with them, so enjoy. Hi, Cindy. Mom and I sell costume jewelry on eBay and Etsy. Good for you. If you could only pick one costume jewelry maker to sell, who would you sell? Hey, Cindy, smart. Who would I sell? I'd sell Trifari probably because brand names. I'd sell Weiss probably because I'd sell Weiss and Eisenberg probably because those are very highly recognizable. Kenneth J. Lane is really well known because of the relationship with old style Hollywood. So people like that because of the celebrity connection. So, and then I'd probably also sell to a lower market, Coro. So there's 5 for you that I would probably say, hey, these are going to be good sellers. That doesn't mean that other ones won't be popular, that the Matisse and the Renoir, those costume jewelry designers won't be popular. I think a lot of them will be very popular. But I would say those 5 are probably the top 5. I like Eisenberg. I like Trifari. I like Weiss if I needed a top 3. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for your informed question. And thank you for supporting the channel. I hope you're liking this Dr. Lori Live. Basically, it's Ask Dr. Lori Live. I hope you're liking this. I'm having fun with all of you. I basically started shopping Goodwill to test my knowledge. Good. I've had some things I think may be worth something. What advice can you give for beginners? Look and watch the videos. And when you're not shopping and looking, watch the videos and ask me. I'm here to help you. This is a free education, people. That's what it is. If you think I don't know my value, I do. And I'm happy to share it. And there's nobody else who's going to teach you better, who cares more about you doing well. I want you to do well. I've always been like this. If 25,000 of my students from Penn State and the other universities that I taught at were here, they would tell you she wants you to succeed, and I do. So beginners are watch me, listen to the expert, ignore the naysayers. They don't always know what they're talking about. God love them. If they love it, that's fine. But they don't always know what they're talking about. You don't want to walk down the wrong path, and I'm going to teach you what to find. The other thing is, I want you to do the quality. Watch the Real Bargains videos. On Sunday, tomorrow, actually, we'll do another one Watch the Real Bargains videos. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what to look for, and I'm going to show you what to leave there. Okay, because there's a lot of stuff that you could just leave there that's junk. Don't invest your money. I don't want you to have a huge inventory that you can't move. I want you to have the pieces that are going to flip and flip well. I told you about the guy who I helped. $1 was his investment, and he made $21,000 on that piece. I told you about the other man who, in fact, $19,000 for a $90 investment in painting. I'm showing it to you. You've got to just watch. You will do well. I will help you. But good for you. You can do this. You can do this. A lot of your colleagues are telling me, they're going, I'm making $4,000 extra a month, Dr. Lori. I'm thinking of doing this full time. Do it part-time, do it full-time, but do it with me. I can help you. And share this channel and subscribe. I need you to help me too. Deep end of the sandbox. Okay. I never liked sandboxes. Do you like sandboxes? I don't like the sand. It's so dirty. I don't know. So you're deep end of the sandbox, which is probably a good thing. Astrid Kirchner print of George Harrison and John Lennon, but doesn't have a COA. Should you skip it? Now, who cares about the COA? I wouldn't skip it. No. If you can identify and you're sure that that is actually by the artist, yeah, I'd be fine with that. The Beatles are going to sell fine. You'll do fine with that. As long as you know the market, right? Because you can get an appraisal from me, which is better than the COA. The COA is somebody who's selling it, trying to convince you that you should buy it. The COAs are only as good as the paper they're written on. I'm not big on those. You can get an appraisal from an expert like me that's going to carry it. No. Okay, that was a good question too. But I want you really to do it. I want you to do well. You can do well. A lot of people are getting into it. So there's a lot more competition. And I want you to remember that, you know, you don't really want to be getting information from the people who are competing with you, right? So other people who are also thrifting with you, thrifting with me, thrifting, you know what? They're competing with you. So I want to be the person who you go to for help, not to compete with you. What other questions can I answer? And thank you very much for supporting the channel. And thank you for the super stickers. And thank you for the super chats. We put them on because people were asking for them. And I'm happy to do that. It does support the channel and it helps me make more videos. It helps me to, of course, be here with the live Ask Dr. Lori. So here's some more questions. Here's Lisa. Are you liking this? Is this fun for you? Tell me if you're enjoying this and if you like this format. I need to know. Are vintage electronics worth anything like transistor radios? Oh my gosh, vintage electronics, yes, yes. Vintage electronics can do very, very well. And don't forget about old computers and don't forget about old iPhones. I appraised an iPhone 3 today. It was a 3G, but I appraised one of the first iPhones unopened with the cellophane still around the box. It's on one of the videos. It was very expensive. So if you have some old electronics, yeah, even the old stereos, the stereos that had the 8-track and the cassette tape, those sort of all together ones. So those are a big deal too. Yeah. You can do very well on old electronics. For old electronics, I would definitely stick to eBay to resell those. Yeah, good question. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. So, but we were looking at that. We were looking at that today. So, and here's Star Walker. Should you leave original old plugs on lamps? Okay. It's not a bad thing if you rewire an old lamp because you want it to be, of course, you want it to be safe. You know, my old joke at the end when I'm doing my events on my in-person live events on the stage is also, you know, I'm holding up an old wire and I go, how close do you live to the fire hall? You know, basically, is the fire department going to come? You can do it and it won't impact the value, but there are a lot of purist collectors who want to see that old wire. So if you do rewire the lamp, and lots of people do it, make sure you keep the old wire so you can send it to whoever your potential buyer is if they want it. So I want you to think about that. And thank you very much for your super chats and super stickers. Yep. So also remember about old lamps. You want to kind of make it, don't put a bright white, plug on a lamp that is all sort of, brown and muted in color. Try to sort of make it nondescript. Because I don't know how you are, but in my house, when I move a lamp somewhere, and even if it's not a vintage lamp, even if it's a new lamp, and the wire is like bright iridescent or it's see-through or something, I hate that. I like to hide the wire. Anyway, D. Hanson Ranch, thanks for your early advice and continual education. It's somewhat overwhelming at times, but interesting. Happy New Year. Well, I hope it's not overwhelming. Pick the thing that you want to know from me, and I'll help you that way. Don't make it overwhelming. I don't want it to be overwhelming. I want you to be able to say, hey, Dr. Lori's going to help me because I am. Because, as you know, I mean, I want to make sure that you get it, that it's easier for you. And it is an education, and I want it to be an easy and fun education. When it becomes work, it's not fun. I want it to be fun for you. So ask the question. I'll walk you through it. That's why I'm here. Hi, Liz. Hi, Dr. Lori. How can you identify genuine amber? Oh, I talked about this in a video. I know I did. I did a video about how you can tell amber. So I want you to be aware of amber, because telling the difference in amber, there's a lot of fake plastic crap amber out there, So you want to be aware of that. A lot of the good amber, of course, comes from the Baltic region. I've been there many, many times in those stores where it's plastic. So there's a density, has to do with also if it's cold to the touch. You also want to look for, a lot of people say, look for the little bugs, look for the little inclusions in it. So they can even put the little fake bugs in it. So there are many different things, but it's in a video about how to actually tell the difference with respect to real amber and not real amber. Some people will use an acid test, like they'll take a needle and they'll heat it up and they'll put it into the... Be careful of all these cuckoo tests. They're silly. They're stupid. So I want you to be careful of the tests that have you potentially damage the object. But yeah, there's a lot of information about how to actually test amber. It's very long. Harry Mead. I love you, Harry. I do love you. Harry is my friend from a million years ago, and I do drink almost a whole pot of coffee like this. I shouldn't put my hands on it. A whole pot of coffee like this, much of the day. I drink a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of tea. I'm New England. We always had teapots going. But yeah, so that's a big one. This is a big Farberware one, but I'm not going to talk about this now. I'm going to talk about it Tuesday. This is a big Farberware one, and even the Farberware matching pieces from the same era, which are hard to come by. These are pretty rare. Specifically, the spatula, pretty rare too. Anyway, Harry Mead, nice to see you. God bless you, hon. I hope you're doing well. Oh, lots of friends all over the world. So there's an oldie but a goodie. Not that he's old, but I've known him a long time. Anyway, I want to remind you that I'm giving you a gift tonight for you guys checking in with me. 25% off merchandise. The code is of course in the community tab. The link and the code. Here's where the community tab is. Don't miss it. It's right there near the playlist. So get the community tab. This offer will end tomorrow, January 3rd. So you got to take the 25% off merchandise and get on it, right? Somebody's having a birthday soon, I'm sure of it. Or maybe you want one for yourself or maybe for your kids. And don't forget the binge link. So if you haven't seen all of the videos yet, the binge link is the way to go. Don't forget about the binge link. Where's my girl, Lori Disney? How's she doing? The binge link is in the description. You can't miss it. I want you to use it. I'm here to help you. So don't forget about the binge link and the community tab. If you can, ring the bell, subscribe, share the channel, and tell your friends about it. I need you to share and subscribe if you would. The loop, the mug, and other things, of course, are there as well to help all of you. So other questions for you. Are you enjoying this? Is this what you want to see? I hope I'm helping you with all different kinds of questions. That's the difference with an expert. You can answer all the different types of questions, not just one thing, right? Deep End of the Sandbox is back. I believe I saw a turnaround on an appraisal a few weeks, wondering if the unlimited is faster. They're all fast. I am fast, baby. So if you're doing it with me, I'm fast. And be careful. Make sure that you are getting the Dr. Lori V. Make sure that's what you're getting, because a lot of people are trying to pose as me. So you want to make sure that when you are submitting the appraisal that you are getting Dr. Lori V. So be careful when you do the searching. Go to our website or do it right here. We'll get you to the right spot. So yeah, I have all different types of services. My video calls are very quick, where you can get appraisals on lots of stuff within a time period. Video chat with me live. You can, of course, do all different types, and you can find those on the website. Pack Cat Treasures has items from Occupy Japan lost a lot of value and interest. Well, Occupy Japan pieces from 1945 to 1952, usually figurines and small pieces like that, had some interest, I would say, between 3 and 4 years ago, pretty well. They were doing pretty well, and they have wavered some. So you'll see people, and a lot of that has to do with the internet and people who don't know what they're doing hurting markets. That happens. So they kind of go, oh, well, I only got it for $2. If I get $3 for it, I'm happy. Well, that messes up the market of people who know that it's worth $15. So got to be careful of this. But having said that, those particular pieces have not been as desirable as they were, I'd say, 2.5 or 3 years ago. I do think that a couple of things are going to start going. There was a very good question the other night I didn't get to, which was, what should I start listing now? What's hot now? And that brings us to this time of the year. This is the time when I always tell everybody, and I have for years, who are trying to sell, and this is for all of you beginners too, is establish your collecting calendar now. Look at the objects that you have and look at those objects and what you should be selling at a certain time. So for example, if you have a cording lamp, or if you have, Valentine's cards, or if you have these kinds of things in your inventory, maybe the thing that you want to do is focus on those for the first 2 weeks prior to, of course, Valentine's Day, right? So maybe you want to think about, what items do I have that would sell better at baseball season? What items do I have that would sell better in the summer? What items do I have? And think about your collecting calendar, the calendar of the month of when certain things should go. Now, about 10 years ago, I was saying, you want to buy Art Deco because in 2020, you want to be selling Art Deco. What did I tell everybody in 2020? Sell Art Deco. What's been popular? Gray, geometric shapes, those kinds of monochromatic colors, everything that was Art Deco. I told you that 10 years ago when everybody was collecting mid-century modern. I said, start buying Art Deco, hold it till 2020, 2021, 2022, and sell it. So if you haven't been selling your Art Deco, get on it. Okay, get on selling those. That's what I want to see. Mary doesn't see the loop in the store. If you go to my website at the top, it's going to say Save Now. It's a specials page. Click on that. That link is right there. That's where you can go and you can see all my specials, including our shopping page, which will have the loop. Thank you, Mary, for asking. I appreciate it. We'll send you right to it. So it's right there on the specials page. You can't miss it. At the top of my website, it says Save Now. Why? Because I want you to do well and I want you to save now, right at the top. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So think about that when you're having your collecting calendar. Think about the calendar that you're going to have for that. Catherine, thank you for the super sticker. Mwah! Big kiss for the super sticker. I appreciate that very much. It supports the channel. It supports your fellow subscribers. It supports all of you who are watching, subscribers or not. But I hope you will subscribe. I really need you to share. I need you to spread the word, if you will. So try to think about and focus on those pieces that might sell at a different time. Your thinking time is as important, of course, as your working time or your listing time or your shopping time or your inventory sorting time or your organizing time. Thinking time is important too. Take the time to sit and think. Let your brain work for you. Anu Cat, thank you so much. Beautiful Anu Cat, thank you so much for being a supporter and supporting the channel. I appreciate it very much. Every single time you do this, I appreciate it. I hope you're liking this format. I like to be able to talk one-on-one with you as best we can in our live Ask Dr. Lori's. The Ask Dr. Lori's are fun. Hello, Felicia. Felicia, should I sell my art on First Dibs? I'm in Florida. Okay, it depends on what kind of art you have. A lot of people like First Dibs, and a lot of collectors like First Dibs. There are a lot of places where you can sell it. It depends on your art. Also, make sure that you are in touch with them to make sure that they will allow, they have, of course, criteria about allowing people to sell on certain sites. I wouldn't see any reason why you couldn't, but I'm not in charge of it. And then think about others. So I always say you're looking at a site to sell on, I want you to interview the site, right? Sort of audition the site too. So look on the site and see where the value is, where the market is for objects like yours on the site and objects like yours on other sites, and see how the market is going on those sites. So kind of give them a little bit of an interview and see whether or not you think that that particular site is right for your pieces. Then you want to think about, what's my goal? Do I want top dollar? Do I want it to sell fast? Do I want it, whatever it might be? What's the thing you're trying to do that's important to you? Are you concerned about shipping? Are you concerned about, would you rather have somebody come pick it up? What are you thinking? So ask those questions and think about those. Don't just go, ooh, I hope you're going to sell. I can sell on your site. Okay. But you also have something that's of value too. You have your inventory that's of value too. And if you need an appraisal before, because you don't know how to analyze the market, I can help you do that. Send a picture to the website. Okay. Here's Laura. Can you talk about American Brilliant Cut Glass? Yeah, I can talk about anything. You know me. I'm like, da, 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 da. Anyway, American Brilliant Cut Glass. Well, what do you specifically want to know? Different makers, you can usually tell by the patterns. It's a good idea to choose one pattern of American Brilliant Cut glass and try to learn and see how that pattern relates. So if you look at certain patterns are going to be more popular at certain times, right? So you're looking at that. I want you to also realize that American Brilliant Cut glass has been low and low and low for so long. All my friends in Cincinnati were like, what happened to our American Brilliant Cut glass market, right? Well, guess what? It's starting the trend. Here we go. It's been low for a long time. A lot of people have it in their inventory, and it's going to start moving. It's going to start coming up. So you'll see it, and I've heard that from a lot of people. A lot of people have been telling me American Brilliant Cut glass is going to see its day. So don't be so quick to poo-poo it. If it's good quality always has a place in the market. It's sort of like the way my friend Jim Cramer will say, I can find a bull market for you anywhere. I'm going to find it for you. Same thing with the antiques. I'm going to show you where the value is. I've shown many of you where the money is, right? And I'm going to keep doing it. So American Brilliant Cut glass, I would say, is going to really come back. Those large rose bowls and things that are versatile, right? So everyone says, well, I don't use a punch bowl. Well, guess what? You take away those punch bowl cups, and all of a sudden, that's a beautiful big centerpiece bowl that people are looking for. Don't just overlook the pieces like that. Look for other things. So other questions for me. And what else do you want to talk about? Here's Mary. What can you use without breaking the bank to test gold and silver? Okay. Well, a couple of things with respect to testing gold and silver. First of all, it's very simple. Learn the marks. This is not hard. It just takes a little bit of time. So a lot of people like to test gold and silver. There are, of course, tests where you can do acidic tests, where you can put a little bit of acid. I hate all of that. I don't like it when you're going to ruin anything, because I am a purist. I like everything perfect. Except my thighs. But I like most things perfect. So, when you put a little acid test, and then even if it's in a nondescript place, right, in the inside of the ring, you're still putting acid onto an object. So you want to be careful of that. So when you have to test, a lot of the times you're going to be able to identify it and see it with your eyeballs. You see these big brown eyeballs? I want you to be able to recognize it with your eyeballs. Sometimes it's harder, yes, but most of the time the good pieces are going to reveal themselves pretty easily. Also learn one of the big tricks that a lot of people don't do, learn the international symbols. So learn the marks or symbols internationally for 14 karat gold, 18 karat gold, this kind of thing. And there's lots of them. And of course, we have a lot of this information also on the website. But good question. Thank you, Mary. I hope you found the loop. Because jewelry, if you're looking for jewelry or precious metals, it's a good way to go. There's a lot of it out there. Be ambitious, not content. I have some antique furniture. Should I sell it as is or refinish first? I have millions of friends. So I have one in particular who's a wonderful makeup artist as well as a repurposer. And I'm going to tell you, these repurposers, upcyclers, these folks are talented. They make a piece of lousy, old, inexpensive, new or old furniture look great. So repurposing is really hot. The thing about repurposing is you've got to know what you've got before you touch it. Because if you touch that Chippendale 1750s, low boy, because you decide you want to put chalk paint on it, light blue, guess what? You just devalued a very valuable thing. So before you make it look different, let's make sure that you know what you've got. So a lot of the times there are certain pieces you've got to sell as is, and there are certain pieces that you actually will get more money for because they're low quality, because they're mediocre materials, that you will actually get more money if you work your upcycling, repurposing magic. And a lot of you have that magic in you. Show me the picture first, and I'll tell you what you've got before you can do that. But be careful, because you might have a Duncan Fife table, for example, the real ones. And, you might not know it because you think it's a reproduction, because there are reproductions out there. So be careful. Let me see them. I'll take a look. It's easy to send a picture through the website. So in doing that, and Carol, I'm a reseller. I've learned so much from you. Thank you. Carol, I'm so happy. I want to tell you, I tingle. I just get all happy when I hear that. I'm so happy you learned a lot from me. I'm so happy I'm helping you make money. You know how you can help me? Share this channel. Share it. Tell your friends. Make sure people know about it and subscribe to it. I am happy that I've taught you a lot. I have a lot that I can teach you. I want to teach you this. I'm not here for ego. I'm not here for any of the rest. If I was here for ego, I mean, I wouldn't be in front of a camera. But basically, I want you really to get it. I want you to understand it because there is a lot to it. And you could just take one little slice of this, right? It's kind of like the way my mother would say when she would make, pepperoni bread, which we used to call a bizzagain, right? So basically, when she said, take just a little slice, even if you take a little bit of my information, I'm going to help you. You want to take all of it? You're entitled to all of it. You're welcome to all of it. But a little bit of this information, I want you to get it. Don't spend your time with folks who don't really have the information to share, okay? Who are just basically doing that for, I don't know, they want to be YouTube stars or something. Okay, next question, let's see. But for the most part, what I want you to do, and I'm so happy that you're doing well, and I'm happy you're just happy doing it. You're enjoying it, you're learning what to look for, and don't forget about vintage clothes. I always talk about jewelry and furniture and fine art and such. Don't forget about vintage clothes. Don't forget about pieces that might not be all that old. Like people go back to just the 90s. You don't have to go back all that far. Go back to the 90s. Don't forget about music and vinyl, things that relate to culture, right? Not only things that are sort of, oh, it's an antique or, oh, it's vintage or whatever. Purses, accessories, shoes, scarves, ties. I mean, pick it. Because there's so much stuff that really is out there that you can do well on, even if you just choose one thing. Here's Sprite. Is it a good time to sell presidential items, Dr. Lori? Kennedy pins, the paper when he was shot and stuff. Sprite, you had to sell that during the election. So from October to about, the beginning of November, maybe even you could probably extend it until the inauguration now, until January 20th. But really, the best time to have sold presidential collectibles is the time up to from the summer until about November 1st of a presidential election year. That's the best time. I have been saying that for the last how many months, because every single time I'm on the video, I will say that. Usually it's every Tuesday morning. So yeah, you really should have then. If you sell it now, you'll do okay. For Kennedy, you could wait till November, when you're back to November of 2021, which is the anniversary of his death, his assassination, because there's usually a lot of press. What you're trying to do is ride the wave. So you're trying to ride the wave of the press when they're talking all about politics. Now, of course, today, now a lot of these TV channels, that's all they're talking about. So, you could actually try to do it, but you'd be better served if you always sell any presidential memorabilia anytime, of course, up and around a presidential election. Not any election, but a presidential election. Yeah. Good question, though, Sprite. Good question. Hi, Marianne. Do you think of a stuffed animal maker around the 60s that made round bottom, no legs and no arms, a plus bottom and head? Oh, so I'm trying to, this is like a quiz. Okay, so it's like Jeopardy. Can we see it again? Let's see if I can think of one. I don't know if I will. Can you think of a stuffed animal maker around the 60s? So knickerbocker, round bottoms, knickerbocker, no legs or arms. Oh, well, I'd have to see a picture of it. So show me a picture of it. Maybe I will be able to identify it. That would be a little easier than trying the description. But thank you for trying. Knickerbocker and, of course, what are the other ones? Ideal made some, but no legs or no arms on a teddy bear. I got a teddy bear from my father. Do you know what happened? I crossed the street and I wasn't supposed to. I was 5 and I got yelled at. Wow, I was in big trouble. And then the next day I got this beautiful yellow box on my bed and my teddy bear was in it. Yeah, I'll never forget it. So when I see a teddy bear, I think of that. Maybe your autograph I got from you in Fort Wayne 2 years ago will be worth a lot. Ha, ha, ha. Don't laugh. I'm a big deal, baby. I am doing this to help all of you. Diane, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. But yes, I'm glad you got my autograph, and I send a lot of autographs. I have not taken new autograph pictures. I'm sorry. For those of you who want autograph photographs, I've not done that, but I will. And Diane had more to that question. I didn't get to all of it. I'm sorry. And Diane, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate that. So let me see if I can see the rest of that, if it's possible. I don't know. But yeah, autographs. Our 1950s Ginny Lynn dolls worth so much. Yeah, Ginny Lynn dolls do have some value. Those 50s dolls are fun, but you got to remember, folks who are playing with the 50s dolls are now thinking about downsizing, right? So, if you're born in the 50s or you're born a little bit later than that, they're not really thinking about, am I collecting more dolls? They're thinking about, can I hand those dolls down to my grandkids? Okay, so you might want to get them as your potential buyer so they can hand them down to their grandkids. So be aware of that. But dolls always have a good market. And there's a lot of great information, of course, about dolls by, again, experts, but experts on dolls, in fact. But I would say that with respect to Ginny Lind dolls, you probably can do pretty well. Similarly with Madame Alexandra dolls and others. Rebecca, thank you for buying the Dr. Lori t-shirt and mug. I hope you used the 25% off merchandise. We gave, of course, the coupon. It's a limited time offer tonight in the community tab because you joined me here at the live. Of course, Ask Dr. Lori live in the community tab. We've got a limited time offer. It will end tomorrow on the 3rd of January. So use it. And don't forget, of course, to watch the other videos on the channel. And don't forget, of course, to utilize that 25% off merchandise. I'm really happy to be able to do that for all of you, for all you do for me. Cupcake paper. Are blow mold Christmas items worth keeping? Yes. Yes. I suggest that you do keep them. Christmas items always sell well. Even the most inexpensive, even those that I consider would be very poor in quality. There's somebody out there who says, oh, I remember that. You know, Christmas is one of those real emotional markets. It's like the toy market. You know, there are certain toys that whether they're good quality or not, there still is a market for it. So I would say, yes, keep. If you haven't sold it this Christmas, get ready and do it there. Thank you very much for the support. We have another Tax and Business Zone Los Angeles. So LA Tax and Business Zone with a super sticker. So thank you so much. I appreciate your support very much. And this is coming on to tax season. So if you haven't talked to your tax professional, get to them, right? Thank you, LA. I hope everything's going well there. And the other side, I'm in Pennsylvania, as you probably know. Our studios are in Pennsylvania. Beamer Girl says, my husband loves you, Dr. Lori. Well, I love him too, and I love you for writing it. Thank you very much, and thank you for your support. I hope he enjoys the channel. I have a lot of fun. Of course, doing this. Where's the loop? You can't find the loop? Go to my website and to, of course, the specials page. It's right at the top of the website. Can't miss it. It says Save Now, and then scroll down, and you'll see it. It'll say Shopping. Click on that, and you'll get the loop. And it's this loop with the LED light. It's the best loop out there. It will help you see everything you need to know. I'll show you how to identify valuable prints. I'll show you how to look through the loop and leave the junk there on the shelf. I'll show you what you can sell for top dollar as well. Found some Rembrandts recently as well. You love stained glass? I love stained glass too. Oh, I do appraise manuscripts. Yes, illuminated manuscripts. Certainly I can appraise those, Trady Phillips. Yeah. I appraised a gorgeous illuminated manuscript. It was the entire actual book. You remember the old Xerox commercial where, the monks are drawing, the Bible? That's an illuminated manuscript. And those particular pieces are very, very desirable. And they date back, of course, to the early Christian period. And those are wonderful. And I can appraise them and have. That one I remember came into an event in Houston, and it was worth several tens of thousands of dollars. It's beautiful. So I'm happy to look at yours. Send a picture to the website. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for giving me a super sticker. And thanks so much, of course, to Tax and Business in LA for their support too. But thank you all for your support. I appreciate it. Helen wants to know where you can get the diamond tester that I've been talking about. You can get the diamond tester, this diamond tester, at drloriv.com/shopping. Very easy. That's also where you can get the loop. And of course, you can also find our other links in the community tab. But drloriv.com/shopping is where you can get the loop and you can get the diamond tester. And it is very helpful to have. These are tools. You need the tools to do the thing. You need it. So, yeah, thanks for asking the question. Yes, we're very happy to help you. And thanks so much, of course, for allowing me to be with you. So I hope you're enjoying this with Ask Dr. Lori Live. I love your questions. I like to know what you're thinking and what you're doing and how it's helping. I want to know what you're having problems with and saying, Dr. Lori, I'm stuck on this. Can I get, can you help me get through this particular thing? So, we got a whole new year of success ahead of us. That's what we're doing. We got a whole new year of it, with friends like Lori Disney and Betty Boop and David McKiley and Karen and everybody, right? We've got all of you. So I'm so glad that you're here. Jerry Picker's here. Happy New Year, honey. Happy New Year. Thank you for supporting the channel. Every bit counts. It counts a lot. It not only helps me make new videos with the staff, it helps me with equipment, it helps me get up the videos, it helps with time. It also helps everybody else to learn. So when you do a support, you're helping everybody else. So I'm thanking you for all the colleagues, for all these other people who are watching as well. And make sure that you realize just that, because I want you to know how much you're helping each other, because this is a community, folks. You know, I'm here to help all of you. And I'm glad that you actually have taken the time. So happy New Year to all of you. Don't forget, Tuesday, I'll talk about the objects on the table. Hi, Charlotte. Are a small oil on panel paintings from the 40s worth an investment? I have several landscapes. Okay, it depends on what the investment is, depends on who's the artist, depends on condition, depends on quality, depends on subject matter. Landscapes are usually pretty good in terms of an investment, better usually than a portrait, unless it's a portrait of a famous person, right? Because landscapes kind of go everywhere, right? So landscapes aren't offensive. They don't have to make some political statement. They're a landscape, so most people like them. Make sure you're looking at pieces that are standard sizes, typically, right? So you're looking for 11 by 14, or you're looking for 16 by 20, or 20 by 24, or 24, or 28 by 32, or whatever it might be. Excuse me. And then, sorry, been talking a lot. But then I want you to think about the quality of the execution of the painting. So look at the painting, right? Like you're reading a book. Read it from upper left to lower right and look across and see if everything kind of looks good. You know, is there a horse that's the size of a house in the painting that doesn't look right? Is there a sunshine that looks like, you know, my 2-year-old great niece made it? I mean, what is happening? So look at the piece and look for the brushwork and look at colors that aren't too like flashy. But I think that landscapes from the mid 20th century and 20th century art in general is usually a good investment. I'll take a look if you want me to look for quality. Amanda, are items with very small chips still worth picking up to resell at the thrift store if they are otherwise? Okay, so are you talking about pottery? And thank you for your support. I appreciate that very much. Are you talking about pottery when you say chips? Or are you talking about paintings that are flaking? So if it's pottery and there are chips, you know, a crack is the worst thing. If you see a cracked piece, leave the cracked piece there. Because, you know, for all of your trying to list it and as a reseller and make it seem okay, someone's going to go, it's cracked. A chip is easier to repair, but you have to have the piece. You know, I would say that it depends on how bad the condition is. Condition is to antiques, but location is to real estate. It's got to be in good shape. So, found Urkel table and 4 Windsor chairs. It's a dark color and you can't move it. Move it. A friend told me to chalk paint it. I can't bring myself to do it. Lady Luck Junk. Hey, that's a good title. I like that. My thoughts on that. I'd like to see it before I have a thought on that. I'd like to look at that table before you do anything. Chalk paint makes it look good. I can't say it doesn't look good, but I have to say that it may look good, but you want to make sure that you don't devalue something that's worth more as is, or if you were to try some Murphy's oil soap first. Some people just, you know, clean it up, quote unquote, as opposed to chalk painting it. But if you'll send me a picture, I'll make a decision on it. The Windsor chairs, do not chalk paint the Windsor chairs. I am sorry. Don't chalk paint a traditional Windsor chair. You'll be sorry you did. Cupcake paper. Where can I have a coin from the 1800s prints? I don't know where you're going to find an appraiser who's honest with 3 degrees, 25 years of experience in the field. I don't know where you're going to find that person, cupcake paper. I mean, come on, it's me. I'll appraise it for you, silly person. You're getting silly now. You're getting punchy. Okay. Mary Louise Morris. Hi, Mary Louise. Thank you so much for your support. Poor Cupcake. She didn't expect that. I'm your appraiser. You have me. Use me. All right. And there's a lot of ways to do it. You can do a quick video call and get a couple of objects done. You can, of course, do all of our other services, which are right there on the Save Now link, which is at the top of the website, right at the first top of the website. So where are you? So that's what I'm thinking. Hi, Keith. Keith is my friend from, oh my gosh, Kentucky or Tennessee. Oh gosh, he's going to be mad at me because I can't remember. Dr. Lori, can you identify Chinese marks on porcelain? Can I identify Chinese marks on porcelain? I can identify Chinese marks on porcelain And I make a mean sour cream cake too. So yeah, I can. Yes, identifying Chinese marks on porcelain is not that difficult, even if you don't read Chinese, right? So you can identify them. I want you to be careful about the Asian pieces, not just because a lot of them are reproductions, but that's also true of Limoges pieces. Lots of true of French pieces too. So be careful, but I'll help you, sure. Wow, that was rude. I'm done. Oh, cupcake paper. I didn't mean to be rude at all, but I do want you to realize that I can appraise these pieces for you. So I didn't mean to be rude, but you should think, wow, where's Dr. Lori? She's the appraiser I can use. Okay, what else? Lots of questions, lots of fun. I'm so glad that you guys are happy that we did it this way. If you like this format, you've got to tell me. I've got to hear you. And thanks so much for that. So the other thing I want you to think about with respect to all of this is the way in which you will have, again, an opportunity to send in those photos and see these pieces. So I want you to basically see those pieces. I want to be able to identify for you what's going to be valuable and help you with these kinds of pieces. So, for example, if you have a 19th century coin, what do you look for? I want you to look for the way in which the coin might be struck. I want you to look for what the material looks like. I want you to see whether or not that particular piece was circulated or not. Is that piece a piece that is an international coin, or is that piece not? I appraised a wonderful coin that was, in fact, a coin that came from the Spanish galleons, treasure ships from the Caribbean. And that particular piece was quite valuable. That piece had a value from the Atocha, which is a very famous, of course, ship that went down off the coast of Florida. That particular piece, $3,000 for one coin. So there's lots of them. And I understand. Cupcake has no way of knowing what my vast background is in appraisals. I understand that, and that's understandable. Hi, Mick. When I say a rosary for you, I think of your mom. Oh, Mick, gosh, you're going to make me cry now. My mother, we used to call her Miss Rosary Bead because my mother was always saying the rosary. She was very Catholic, quite devout. And she said rosary beads a lot. And I miss her a lot. I mean, if you've lost a parent, you probably know what that's like. And it's very nice of you to say that, Mick. Thank you very much. And thank you for your continued support. Lana, too, thank you very much for your continued support. Super stickers and such. And I, of course, am sitting here and you're all thinking, oh, Dr. Lori gets over that. I feel very bad that Cupcake thinks I'm rude because I'm trying to do this to help all of you. So when someone says, oh, you're rude, I'm saying, well, sometimes, folks need to know. I need to say, geez, come on, how could you miss this? But I understand that, a lot of people see me as not really the person who will actually, do the appraisals. I don't know how that's missed in all of this. And maybe it's because of the celebrity status, or maybe it's because of course, the energy on the channel. But I don't want her to feel bad. I don't want any of you to feel bad. I'm doing this to try to help you. So anyway, hi, Jay Wonders. Any info on Thune MZ? I have 2 cups and can't find much info online. P.S. You're amazing. Thank you. Well, I'm sure you're amazing too. And thank you very much. And thank you for the support of the channel. Send me a picture of that mark and I will be able to identify it and help you with it. Sometimes I want you to look at language, right? So look at the mark and look about the language, right? So maybe it's German, or maybe it's Germanic, or maybe it's Central European. Or then there are certain words that you typically see will be places like Northern Europe, or maybe it's Australian, this kind of thing. But let me see the mark, and the shape of the mark and the color of the mark also matters. Tracy has a super sticker. Tracy, thank you so much for your super sticker. I'm very grateful to all of you. I'm happy to take your questions, and I'm very happy to be able to help. But I know that people will say, oh, well, she does all this and she's, and she doesn't hurt. So it hurts me when people say that. So I like to be as honest with you as I can. But I also want you to realize that I'm doing this to try to help you because I know what it is to start out in the field and not know enough to do well. So I want you to be able to do well. I had a lot of opportunities because a lot of people were able to help, but I also worked very hard. And I know a lot of you are working very hard. It is not easy today, particularly in this environment, so it's not that easy. So I want you to be able to do well. And I have a lot of information that can help you. Joanne, Dr. Lori, we want you to organize a thrifting cruise. That would be fun. Okay, we'll have to work on that, right? A thrifting cruise where we just cruise place to place and we just go to thrift stores. I'm all over that. I'll do that. You guys will have fun. I'll have fun. You'll make money. It'll be good. That's my share. That's a good idea. I like that idea. I love to travel. I hope you enjoyed the travel. I'm going to do some more travel stuff. I think it seems like everybody was really excited to see some of the places. And I make the connections between these places and art and antiques and souvenirs and collecting. It's so much fun. Autumn Fair 2121. Thank you for the super sticker. Isn't that great? I appreciate the support of the channel. You're helping everybody, and I appreciate that very much. And thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being with me. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that as well. Well, my goodness, Shelly, thank you so much. Thank you for all of your time. Thank you for being with me. Thank you very much for of course, bringing in the second day of the new year with me. I hope that tomorrow night you'll be with me as we premiere another Dr. Lori premiere, a live premiere on the channel, Sunday at 5 Eastern time. I hope you'll be there, and I hope you'll watch. Use the binge link to watch lots of the videos. Don't forget to use the code, which gets you 25% all merchandise for a limited time until tomorrow, so you got to use it soon. You can find that code in the community tab. Keep checking back at the community tab because that's where we're going to put the information for you. I'm Dr. Lori. I'm grateful to you. I wish you a happy new year, and we'll see you next time.